Not too long ago, there was a show that was on television called Person of Interest. And I mean, I was hooked on this show. And it came on about 10 o'clock at night, and it profiled this mysterious guy who was a wealthy billionaire who'd created this artificial intelligence, machine, if you will, that watched literally every human being's every motion at every time, anywhere. Period. And it was a if you've watched this show, you know what I'm about to get at. It was actually super cool, but it's funny how close to the real world that show really is when you think about all the technology that we have with our mobile phones. When you open up an app on your phone, it knows exactly where you are. When Facebook looks at what you're doing on your Facebook, they have 1,500 plus data points that they can use to track your behavior and how they can show that and save that for advertisers. Well, in this video, what I want to share with you is the power of using Facebook audiences to improve your marketing and improve your targeting on Facebook and off of Facebook as you continue to build your business using Facebook. So let me first of all explain what an audience is. So as I mentioned with this example of person of interest, and I don't know if any of you have watched it, please message me inside the Facebook group because I thought the show was absolutely phenomenal. And I think it got tough to keep the storyline going, and I think it kind of faded out. But in any case, I want to explain to you three types of audiences, okay? Number one, Facebook has something called a custom audience. They have something called a lookalike audience, and then something called a saved audience. I will show you all three of these, examples of all three of these in this video, and I need you to take notes. If you don't, this is a video you never want to misplace. Okay, so first of all, let's look at what a custom audience is. So let's say that I want to create an audience. There we go. Okay, so if I want to create a custom audience, what am I asking Facebook to do, or what am I going to be doing? And in a previous video, I talked about the power of engagement ads, the power of video view ads. Okay, so let's talk about the very first thing. Many of you have you remember hearing us talk about this at the Get More Customers Academy. In Module 5 of our Academy, we talked about the lifetime value of a customer. We talked about getting increased referrals and increased repeat business. So that starts with you having a customer database with email addresses, right? So if I wanted to go in here right now, I could export from my database management software or my CRM, my customer relationship management software. It is so important to collect as much data on your customers as you possibly can, because Facebook will allow you to market to them. And you can do this a number of different ways, right? So if you owned a business in the 1990s like I did, we didn't have computers to do Facebook targeting. What I would do is I would take my customer database at the time and I would send them direct mail letters to stay in front of them, right? I would send them direct mail. When I got into the 2000s and I was in the mortgage industry, I would send them postcards and newsletters, but it was all by mail. Well, you know what the cost of mail is today, right? So if I had a database, and at the time I left the mortgage industry, I had a database of 7,000 people that I had met with. That was just people that I'd actually done one-on-one consultations with over that 12-year career. Imagine what a $7,000 per month marketing budget would have been just to maintain direct mail communication with all those people. And whether I earned the business or didn't earn the business, they were buyers of mortgages. So it would have been smart for me to keep in touch with them. Well, what if you could upload your database and let Facebook match their email address to a Facebook account so that you can then then you can just market to your existing customers. That's what the power is of creating a custom audience with your customer file. Now, I'll talk about lookalike audiences and why your customer file is so important in just a moment. Okay, but keep an eye on the customer file. That's a very big deal. But that's if you've got a business and you've got a lot of customers, right? So what if some of you don't have a lot of customers right now? Well, I've got something for you in just a moment when we get down here to engagement. But let's first stop at website traffic. Now, what's cool about website traffic is when we talk about the Facebook pixel, right? So in another video, you're going to learn about the Facebook pixel. The Facebook pixel is very similar to a Google Analytics code that goes on your website that then will do very similar things that Google Analytics tracking codes will do, which is track all the visitors to your website. Okay, and then you'll go in and you'll name the pixel. You only get one pixel per account. You don't get 2 of these, you don't get 5 of these, you get 1 of them, just like a Google Analytics account. Well, what you can do is go in here and set up a custom audience based on all the visitors to your website. You can set up an audience that says, hey, do me a favor and track all the people who visited specific pages of my website. Let's say, for instance, you have a product that you sell, or you have a consulting page, or you have a pricing page on your website. What if I just want to, track all the people that landed on certain pages? And you can set up all kinds of variations of this so that you can then build little, I call them buckets, right? You can segment your database by buckets based on their activity on your website. So back in the day when we had a web design department and we had a full service video production division in our business, I mean, we had 5 divisions at one time in our company, and I'm glad we scaled it back to just do inbound. But we would want to know who arrived on our web design page, and we could actually just send the web design visitors a web design ad. Just imagine that. If someone landed on our social media page today, I can now send them just an ad that speaks to social media. Think about that for your business. That's how powerful this custom audience is using website visitors, okay? You can do all kinds of things with this. So this is something that we're going to walk you through in another video. I just want to do the overview here, but that's one of the other great advantages of the custom audience. Let's go to another one. So if you're not running an app, then I'm not going to worry about the app one here because, again, I don't think that that's largely who we're working with in this group. And this is the one that I just have to tell you. This is the one that makes my heart sing, if that makes any sense. It's unbelievable what Facebook can do. Okay? So if anyone interacts with your video, 3 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 25%, you can start building custom audiences based on the engagement that they did on Facebook or Instagram. You can see the logos right there, Facebook or Instagram. So whether you're marketing on Facebook or Instagram or both, just by uploading video. And right now, video is the thing that Facebook wants the most of. Facebook wants video in their newsfeed. So if you're a marketer, you're a business owner right now, you're going to want to do video. And the good thing about it is you don't have to do video all with your face in the camera like we talked about at the Get More Customers Academy. I'll even show you how to do a slideshow video just using images and turn that into a 10-second, 20-second, 30-second video. It's absolutely amazing. So anyone who watches a video, you can put them in a special bucket or an audience, and you can go back and market to them later on. Anyone who interacts with your lead form, so remember back to the video when we talked about the types of ads, and there's an ad where you can actually collect a name and an email address and they never leave Facebook. Well, anytime someone does that, you can actually put them in a bucket here. Full screen experience, which is very interesting. Like if they take a post and they open it up full screen, you can put them in a bucket. I don't find that one that useful as of yet, but I'm sure Facebook has found a reason why. We don't use it all that much. You can create a list just of people who've interacted with your Facebook page. I mean, this is unbelievable, right? So when you're putting up pictures or quotes or anything that we're going to teach you about running an engagement, a high engagement page, anytime someone likes, comments, or shares your video or post or status update on your fan page, you can now bucket them into an audience as well, which is powerful, very powerful, because now you're at least you're going to be remarketing, if you will, to people who have shown an interest in your page at some level. Okay, you can now do Instagram. This is brand new. Actually, I didn't even know this was back here. In fact, it says brand new. I didn't even know this was back here. So people that have interacted with your Instagram page now, you can actually have them go straight into an audience. And then anyone who's interacted with your events on Facebook, if you happen to be running offline events and you put up an event page on Facebook. So this custom audience in terms of engagement is so powerful. This is one of my favorite categories, especially for when you're just starting out. Okay, let's go back and talk about the other audiences. So in a lookalike audience, this again, it gets so crazy. So Facebook has the ability to say, if you give me a source audience, and I'm just going to take my page for example. If I go into my audience and I say, let me get rid of this, I'm not sure why that's doing that. Let's say I want to go into the United States. Okay, and let's say that I want to what I want to do is, in a lookalike scenario, is I want to find people that already look like people that I'm already marketing to. So think of it this way. If you have 2,000 customers and you upload those 2,000 customers in the customer list audience that we talked about a moment ago in the custom audience section, then I can then tell Facebook, do me a favor and find up to 2 million other people that look like my customers. That's called a lookalike audience. So Facebook, you've seen 2,000, and by the way, you have to have at least 100 names on a custom list, a customer list when you upload it. And by the way, let me say this right now. Do not go buy a database from InfoUSA or one of those companies and upload it and try to do this. This would likely get you banned. I think there are some people getting away with it, but it's likely going to get you banned. Okay, so don't do that. You're looking for actual real customers or real prospects, people that have really engaged with your business. Okay, so what's important is this lookalike audience. You have the power to go out and say, Facebook, would you please take these people that look like my customers, that are my customers, and go find other people in the United States or whatever country, you can add as many countries here as you want, that look like my customers. Then you can build an audience based on those people. Hey, Facebook, these 4,000 people watched my video about my product or service. Would you find 2 million other people that look like those people so I can market to them? See, Facebook has a limited amount of news feed in order to put your ads in. Please recognize that. If Facebook showed you every post from every person, business, or page that you followed, you would leave Facebook. You would leave Facebook. So there's all these people out there screaming and hollering about Facebook changed my algorithm. Facebook keeps changing the algorithm. Well, that's what they're supposed to do. Their job is to make sure you see what you want to see, right? So as a marketer, as an advertiser, we only want to put our content in front of people who've shown an interest in our content, or they're most likely to be interested in our content. And unfortunately, we are just not that smart to know who that is. We're just not that smart. So we can use lookalike audiences to do that. Now let me caution you really quick before I finish this section on lookalikes. Notice here it's saying they're going to go out and find 1% of people that look like the audience already on my fan page. It's going to estimate at 2.1 million people. The further you move this out, like if I wanted to move this out and say Facebook find 4 million, 6 million, etc., the further you go out, the less accurate it gets. So we always recommend staying at the $2 million person mark. From there, it doesn't mean you're going to advertise to 2 million people. If you're a local business, you might not have 2 million people in your local area, right? So if you're going to get a minimum of 2 million people, but then you're going to lay your targeting over the top of the lookalike audience. And we'll talk about that when we start talking about ads. Okay, let me go to the last audience, which is, again, one of my favorites, especially for cold traffic, and that is what's called a saved audience. So a saved audience, you can do this one of two ways, and I'll show you in the Audience Insights video another way to do this, but I like to do it from here. And I'm actually going to do it in the Audience Insights video, so I'm not going to go through the full walkthrough here, but just understand what you have the power to do. Most of you are starting on Facebook right now either for the first time, or you're starting on Facebook after some failed attempts or attempts that gave you less than, I don't like the word failure, you're either starting on Facebook after some less than desirable results. Okay, so nothing's a failure unless you quit, right? So we have had terrible results on many a campaign for many a years, and it was online and offline, right? So we're not failures unless we quit. So we're back again with a new, fresh perspective is what I like to think of. If you were on this platform and you started to give up on Facebook, my job is to convince you why you shouldn't give up on Facebook and how to maybe right the ship. So I'm going to show you in another video, but what's really cool about this is if you don't have a customer list to upload and build, so if you don't have a customer list and you don't have a ton of traffic coming to your website already, then some of the other audiences aren't going to be as useful for you. But all of you, each of you, can think about the targeting, and you should have already begun thinking about the targeting. I've got an exercise for you through this week, a couple of exercises actually, where I want you to identify where your customer might be hanging out on Facebook. And so I'm going to show you how you can begin by naming your audience. You can then figure out where do you want to market to them, and I'm going to show you this in another video. What country are they in? What age group are they, right? So we've done our buyer persona work, so this is easy. We know if they're men or women. If we've got anything specific in our buyer persona that says they're men or women, you don't have to worry about English unless you're going outside the country. So if you're in the United States, you don't have to worry about this. And then you're going to get into detailed targeting, either via demographics, either interests, I mean, all kinds of things that you can do. And I'll show you this again in another video. And then what's interesting, let me just do this really quick just for the sake of the numbers. Notice up here it says the potential reach is 230 million people because I put in just the United States. Notice it says I want to target people living in the United States that are age 18 to 65. Let me just add one single thing, and that is let me just put in entrepreneurship. Okay? And it dropped to 13 million people. The more targeting and demographics I get in here, the smaller this audience is going to get. The smaller this audience is going to get. So I'm going to show you just really quick in this video because I just want to show you this. So for instance, when you go to look at custom audiences right here, all of the audiences that have been built or that are available will start to show up right under here. So let's say I want to go in and look at anyone who's watched one of my videos for more than 3 seconds. It tells me there's been 1,600 people that did that. Anyone who's visited my website, which I don't know why 300 people would have been to my website because I took my website down. I think this is just old data, but 300 people have been to my website. How many people have interacted with my page, my personal my business fan page in the last 90 days? This is a very helpful number. I can start with 13,900 people. You can see right here that have done something on my fan page. They've liked, commented, or shared something on my page. And if I want to build an audience around this group, I could actually do that. Or if I want to advertise to this group, I can actually do that. If I want to narrow that down, I could do that. What if I wanted to go into a lookalike? Okay, and I don't have any lookalikes set up on this particular page. But I'm going to explain this a little bit more. But the bottom line is you're going to be able to build what I call targeting audiences that you can test with your different ad sets. Remember I said in the other video about the way your types of ads were set up and the way the campaigns are set up is that you typically want to target audiences and you want to break out your audiences so that they're unique in your different ad sets. And then you're going to test your ads against those audiences. The key though is you got to have audiences to test, and we're going to show you that in one of the next videos. But I just want to wrap this video up and let you know that this idea of audiences, and once you're building these audiences, let me just show you a couple of them, and I apologize for going long, but this is so important. Right? So I've got a fan page audience for my fan page. It contains 3,700 people on it. So if I just wanted to advertise to these 3,700 people, I could. And you can see that's a saved audience. Here's my video view audience. Anybody who's watched 3 seconds or more of one of my videos, I've got 1,600 people who've done that. Anyone who's been to my website, which I think is kind of bunk. Retirement prospects. I think I was doing this I've done some of this stuff for other companies. Where I just use my account to set up generic ideas. But here's a scenario. I don't know who I was targeting here, but it looks like I was trying to figure out how many people were available for some type of retirement planning campaign. And I found 560,000 people there. This is one of mine where Damon John is a shark from Shark Tank, and I'm going to be doing some targeting towards his audience, and so there's 420,000 people I can reach there. So anyway, I can go on and on and on. There's all kinds of stuff here, but once you have these audiences built, you can then use them inside of your ad campaigns. And rather than trying to figure out who to target at the time it's time to run an ad, my homework and my suggestion will be for you, and your exercise this week will be to start thinking about all the various things that you could possibly target on Facebook to reach people. And you'll see that in the exercise that goes along with the Audience Insights video. So I'm going to wrap this video up. I know this was long, but it was so important because audiences are absolutely critical to your growth on Facebook. See you in the next video.